Welcome to the Deepak Saini Show.
He said he gon' huff and puff and blow my mind up. You meet the island girl, she might dirty wind up.
Welcome to the Deepak Saini Show. I want to thank J23 for the intro music. You can find a link to her music in the show description. My guests today are Janet Waye and Dean Zipse. Dean is a veteran of the Canadian oil patch who has a passion for growing businesses as well as living an active fitness and recovery lifestyle. His biohacking journey started when he decided he wanted to die as young as possible, as late as possible. We're going to get into that, and we have similar thoughts on that. A proud Calgarian, Janet graduated from Mount Royal University before discovering a career in oil and gas services. She's a fitness enthusiast who enjoys staying active, especially outdoors. Her interest in biohacking started when she learned there are better and more effective ways to embrace lifelong health and longevity. Janet and Dean, welcome to the Deepak Saini Show.
Thanks for having us, Deepak.
Awesome.
Yeah, great to be here.
Yes, I'm glad to have you both here. And you both are the co-owners of Upgrade Labs in Calgary, where I live, or actually I just live just outside the city, but the closest one. So we're going to get to that in a second. But I always like to start off with, and you guys can decide who's going to go first or whatever. I'll leave that up to the two of you. But I love to, get sort of the backstory. What got you to where you're at today? I'm sure neither one of you sort of grew up as little kids saying, I'm gonna own Upgrade Labs didn't even exist then, but I'm gonna own, a facility. That's probably not what most kids dream about when they're growing up. So I'd love to hear, kind of how you got to where you're at today.
Yeah, you bet. Really, the story started, we have another business partner, Bruce Tim, and I'd worked with Bruce for a number of years. And some of those years included the COVID and time space. And coming out of COVID, we knew that there had to be a better way. And we also knew that it was a time period where we recognized people were really taking health and longevity into their own hands. During that time, there was a lot of misinformation out there, and people were searching for their truth in the midst of all of it. And so we knew it was along the lines of fitness. The more that we looked into it, the more we recognized it had to be fitness and recovery. And at the time, Janet and I were, Janet was involved with us pretty much right from the start as well. Helping to do due diligence. Janet's got a history in yoga, and she's a yoga instructor, fitness advocate, active lifestyle. And her thoughts were very well aligned with Bruce and myself, that we really dig into this recovery piece. If you look around at the people walking up and down the street, we call them the walking, living, breathing dead. And if we can get a little bit of recovery into the human body can do miracles. And so it was along the lines of building our fitness and recovery studio plans that we discovered Upgrade Labs, which was surprising because I think I started following Dave Asprey in 2009. So I'd been a long-time follower of his, but hadn't seen that he had Upgrade Labs.
That's interesting. Janet, before you go, I just said the walking, living, breathing dead. I mean, that could be a Netflix special or show right there, I think, with that title. And similar, Dean, yeah, I think it's so around the same time frame. I've been following Dave since somewhere in that 2009, 2010 something as well. So Janet, how'd you find yourself with these crazy cats?
Yeah, I think similar to Dean, during COVID, when everything was going on, we were all taking a step back to look at our health. At that time, Dean and I had also reconnected and started dating. So a lot of the conversations that he was having with Bruce, I was exposed to and learning a little bit more. And at the time, Dean was also starting to, biohack and experiment with a couple of different things. So just simply by being with him, I was able to get a little bit more insight into what that kind of lifestyle looked like. And then on the business side, as Bruce and Dean started to discuss it more, I was lucky enough, I got to go on a couple due diligence trips with them to check out some equipment. and seeing and feeling the actual equipment. So something that was completely outside of the actual biohacking of, like, you know, different vitamins and supplements, but going and actually seeing some of this equipment in play really blew my mind and really got me very excited for what they were doing. We got to see a couple of locations of what it looked like in play, outside of what an upgrade labs looked like. So before we had discovered them, and it was just like mind blowing. So that really got me excited. I knew that it was something that if they were going to get into, could hopefully be a part of it in some way. And yeah, the rest was kind of history. Once Dean and Bruce had discovered Upgrade Labs, we went and met that team, checked out their location, and then our universes kind of collided late last year when I was able to join the team more formally for Upgrade Labs. So it's been really exciting and a great pivot for me personally and professionally to be able to take my life and apply some of these theories, just in my day-to-day life outside of what I had done before, like what Dean was saying about yoga and just general fitness lifestyle, and then professionally as well, to be able to take everything that I know and what I've been working on in my life in terms of marketing communications and apply that to something that I'm passionate about. I really feel like it became the intersection of, doing something that you love, and then you never really have to work a day. Even though it's been a lot of hard work, it's something that we've been really passionate about. And yeah, I've just been loving it.
Awesome. I'm going to pull on two threads real quick. First one, actually, we don't need to spend any time there, but you kind of came up. I was like, this is my personal opinion. I think you guys probably agree. And we don't need to spend any time on this, but I'm like, I think, exercise, being healthy, things for your health, closing gyms was like one of the dumbest mistakes that happened during during COVID. Anyway, and then don't cancel us, people. But I think you guys are shaking your head, so I think you agree with that. Second of all, and I see this, I work with my clients, I see this in the general population, and I work with my clients is like, and generally, having worked in fitness earlier in years ago, I think there's not enough emphasis given on recovery. It's all about like push and train. Yeah, you get your sleep and whatever, but like actual recovery and actual recovery modalities, I think totally flies on the radar. Nobody talks about it. And I think I'd love to get your take on from either or both of you. I think it's just as important. You should spend as much time, if not more. Again, depends on your goals, but on recovery than you do the actual exercise. What do you guys think?
Two bullets on that, Deepak, is number one, when we were first exposed to this minimum effective dose, AI-driven fitness equipment, and you hear the recommendation, and don't work out for 24 hours after. It's not until you do it and you realize just how intense it is for a minute of, say, bench press, that time under tension and that pressure, you absolutely recognize your body needs recovery. And so, being exposed to this high-end equipment was kind of the first dip into this recovery space. The second thing is we find quite often that we spend a lot of time recovering people, getting them ready to get in shape. And, they may be active, they get their steps in and they do a little light workout or go to a boot camp, but exposing them to this recovery equipment, some people can't even point on their body, where they're feeling the pain. And so it's that a little bit to yoga and meditation and just slowing the earth down a little for oneself. And it's during those times when we do 2 or 3 recovery modalities to people, they're amazed at how much better they feel and how it awakens their body sensory condition. And 2 or 3 weeks later, then they truly are ready to work out.
Awesome.
Anything
to add?
Yeah, just I would say anecdotally, we're used to in society, like how big can your workout be? How fast can you go? How quick can you be? All the HIIT classes are very popular, which I love them too, but it leaves little room for recovery. I've yet to be in a room like outside of a yoga class where people stay for the 5 minutes after for the stretch. Everyone drops their weights and leaves. No one's taking time to like recover their body even just through stretching. So being in the lab, having some purposeful equipment that people are actually taking a moment to recover their body at deeper level, they feel so much better. They leave our lab feeling so much better. It's hard to explain. It's just, they, like Dean said, they can just finally recognize that they needed to take a moment instead of having to rush all the time to get that fitness in. You can still do your body a lot of good just by, laying there and doing, one of the modalities, which is very simple. But it's recovery and it's good for your body.
Yeah, I'll just, and I shared this with both of you before, but I'll do half hour of zone 2 cardio every day, strength train, minimal effective dose, and kind of stack modalities, biohacking, we'll come to that in a second. Maybe 15, 20 minutes tops, but I spend 30 to 45 minutes stretching every day. And I mean, I'm coming from a back injury, so I need to do that. And then I'll do, 20 to 30 minutes of sauna as recovery every day that I'm home as well. So I'm doing actually more recovery, than I'm doing of active stuff. So again, that's not necessarily for everyone, but that's my modality. Now, we brought up biohacking a couple times now in both of your bio. So I'd love to get from each of you, what's your definition of biohacking? How do you view that term?
Janet, you want to go?
Yeah, biohacking is the science of hacking your own health. The simplest way to explain to people, especially after you get outside of the definition or the term of biohacking, is if you've ever done a keto diet, if you've ever done some sort of danger coffee, if you've ever done anything to hack your own health, you are biohacking. So Dean, do you have a better definition or more to say? Biohacking, it's something that you have to really feel. It's very experiential, but for the most part, people are doing elements of biohacking and they're not even realizing it. Cold therapy, dipping in cold water and then jumping into a hot sauna. People are doing that because they know it feels good for their body, but they're not even realizing that that's a form of biohacking.
Yeah, I think at its basis, we're hacking our own human biology. And the term comes from computer hacking, where you want a shortcut. And we talk a lot about minimum effective dose, maximum effective dose. Quite honestly, we're utilizing the old accounting 80-20 principle on fitness, where that 20% effort done properly gives you 80% effectiveness. And, I think another business term that applies is what gets measured gets gained. Deepak, you've been on our equipment. Everything's registered on an iPad. Some of them email you your workout. So not only are we hacking, but we're tracking. And with that, important digital footprint that we all love to see about our sleep scores and our bench press weight and amount of just proper recovery, that is biohacking.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. And Dean, that was a perfect segue. So yes, everyone, I went to the facility earlier, did a bunch of the equipment. Some I'd used before at other places, some I'd never tried before. So we're gonna have some supplemental video at the end of the podcast. So stay tuned and continue to watch that, and you'll see that sprinkled through social media. But definitely stay on and watch some of that extra video of me getting my butt kicked by some of that equipment. But I think that's a great segue. Maybe briefly, let's talk about some of the modalities that you have there at the lab.
Yeah, certainly. I can cover off the key pieces on the fitness side. A lot of what we do starts with a simple vibration plate. And we have a very advanced, it's a 3-dimensional vibration plate. Those micro movements really help to warm up the body. You're actually getting a mild workout from that equipment. And again, just a couple minutes on that gets you set up for your day on the fitness side. We spend a lot of time putting people through the AI bike. Our AI bike, it's a 9-minute workout with 2 20-second sprints. that gives you the equivalent of about a 40-minute jog or 40-minute spin class. And they've boiled it down from a HIIT style workout to re-HIIT, reduced exertion, high intensity training. And so that 9 minutes gets people warmed up and the heart pumping. And then we have our cheat machines. And these are, there's no plates, no weights. Most of our equipment is kind of recumbent in style, very modern electronic equipment that you're simply pushing against electric motors and pressure sensors. Everything's recorded on an iPad, and we email you how you did. And along the lines of what gets measured, gets worked on, your last workout pops up on the iPad. So the next time you come in, you can see how you did and gauge how you're improving by tracking your weightlifting.
Dean, can you talk about the importance with some of these equipment, especially the cheat machines, the eccentric versus concentric forces? I think that's super important that people who do traditional weights don't appreciate necessarily.
Yeah, so 2 points on the cheat machines. You're under constant pressure. And so the easiest one to describe is the bench press. For myself, I can press down at the bottom 50, 80 pounds, all the way up to say 200. At the top, the computer starts putting additional pressure on, and I can hold almost 400 pounds. So these arms that bench press 200 immediately after see 400. And on that eccentric loading, it's a way that we can build big muscle fast, and 400, 300, 200, all the way back down to 80. Even on the bike, our bikes look like a Peloton bike. The major difference is the AI runs the tensioner. And so when you do go to those sprint cycles, you're fighting your own height, weight, age, demographic information, but you're fighting the watts that you put into it last time. And it just continues to build as you get healthier. It provides more and more tension. So we've taken the human element out of this, and the computers are providing the feedback and the maximum amount of weight that you can push into the equipment.
Awesome. Thank you for explaining that. Janet, do you want to talk about some of the recovery modalities that you have there and that I also participated in?
Yeah, definitely. So I can visualize our lab in my head. So I'll kind of go from the beginning to the back end, which starts with our PEMF beds. So we have pulsed electromagnetic field. So basically what it looks like is two weighted blankets, and we would have someone lay between the two blankets. And what happens is when we turn the machine on, there's these little electromagnetic pulses that are going between the mats, and the person is going to feel it going between their body. It's going to be pinging them a little bit. And basically what's happening in those little those little pulses are looking for areas of inflammation. So what we know is that electricity travels through the path of least resistance, and in the body, it's going to be where all that liquid is, or where that inflammation is in the body. So a lot of people, when they lay in between the mats, they'll often feel it in their shoulders, they'll feel it in their hips, sometimes in their lower back. We have different attachments. If anyone is, suffering some sort of injury and they need to get some good blood flow through there, we would allow them to use that as well. Or we would put them on one of those attachments. But basically what's happening with the PEMF is it's helping to recharge your cells. It's helping to introduce new blood flow. It feels really good. It feels a little bit weird if you've ever been on a TENS machine before. Sometimes it can be a little bit bouncy, but everyone, when they get off there, sometimes if they've never felt it before, they feel it's a feeling that they've never had before, but when they get off, they're always feeling really good. Next to our PEMF bed, we have our lymphatic pants. We call them the bouncer, or they're not called the bouncer pro pants, but we call them the big squeeze pants, or party pants. You put those on, it's like getting a lymphatic detox massage. So the pants have 27 chambers, and what happens when we turn the machine on is the air starts pulsing through those chambers, basically from your ankles up through to your trunk. What that's helping to do is just move around those any toxins that your body is having and helping to move those to your lymph nodes to help you basically excrete those. So people love doing the big pants anytime they're feeling bloated, anytime they feel like they have like a big date or a big event that they need to go to. This is something that you'll see a lot of celebrities using before they hit the red carpet, that sort of thing. And again, it feels good. It's kind of spa-esque. You can lay there for 20 minutes, close your eyes, and just enjoy the recovery that you're having. And then when you head down our hallway, you find our red bed at the end there. Again, this is a mood booster, a recovery piece that you can lay down in. It's going to help energize your cells, energize the mitochondria. We have different programs on the red bed. So basically what's happening is that there's different layers of light. We have the red, infrared, your yellows, your greens. And when you're laying there, depending on the program you chose, whether it's for inflammation, lungs, nervous system, etc., the different layers of light are going to hit the skin and go to the different layers, and it's going to have that energizing effect on your body. So Dean actually did the green light this morning. I think that he would be able to provide a great example of just how the different lights can have on the body. A lot of people are very familiar with the red light and the infrared light for the skin, but we also know that it can do other things, like it can help with fat, with mood, etc. Dean, why don't you talk about this morning when you used the green light?
Yeah, I was a little tired. I knew we had this podcast coming up, and one of our biohack technicians, Sandra, recommended the green light. We're learning more about the green light. It's they're calling green is the new red, and so we've got a setting that was very energy boosting. I can't hardly describe it. It was a 15-minute setting. I think I might have snoozed for 8 or 9 minutes, and in the tail end, the last 4 minutes, I couldn't go back to sleep. I was already more in an alert, awake state, and 5 minutes after that, I really felt incredible, and I hadn't done the green before. So in the process of continual learning, we're learning a little bit every day.
Yeah. Something to note on the red bed too is it's that type of recovery that can have an impact on your body without having to go through and do like the fitness workout. So when we talk about things like the visceral fat, when people are trying to get rid of their visceral fat, we've seen in our lab that the red light, the red bed has helped people achieve that without having to do the heavy workouts. So how we're able to do that is we start everyone off with a cell health analysis. They stand on the machine. I think Deepak, you did this as well when you were in the lab.
I did, yeah.
You grab the 2 electrodes that you have, and basically within a minute, this machine is measuring all of your major biomarkers, everything that's happening inside your body. So it's not just telling you how much you weigh, it's telling you, what your muscle fat is, what your lean muscle is, how inflamed you are with your water. And it's also going to tell you how much visceral fat you're holding, and it's telling you where you're holding it in your body as well. So again, one of our biohack technicians made it her goal that she was going to use the red bed to help target that visceral fat and take that visceral fat percentage down. And in a month, she was able to do that quite significantly without using any of the AI fitness equipment. She was only using the recovery, and the red bed was something that she was using at least twice a week. And that was having that impact on her.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point there. And just sometimes people, whether you have a lot of weight to lose or it's just that last 5 pounds, people I think don't realize like just inflammation and how much that actually contributes to, and a few pounds here and there is probably not something to like be overly concerned about in general, but how those sometimes just that last 5 pounds is just inflammation. It doesn't matter what kind of exercise you do, you'll never get rid of if you don't get rid of that inflammation. So before we move on, we got to talk about the chamber though, the cold chamber. So
yes,
whomever wants to, we got to talk about that.
That's our last piece of recovery equipment. But Dean, why don't you talk about the cryo, because he is our superhuman of the cryo, the cold therapy.
Our cold therapy chamber is it's a walk-in cooler, and the chamber temperature stays at around -100 Celsius. And to get additional cooling benefits, clients are able to pick beginner, intermediate, or expert levels. And those coincide with fan speeds inside the chamber. So when you pick the expert or double black diamond, you're actually, you come out with snowflakes and frost all over your body. It's quite a ride in there. But we have the headphones. You get to listen to your favorite tune and just relax. The time goes by very effectively. And this is one of those, a number of our modalities kind of touch on the old reptilian brain. And I'd like to share with people that, as soon as that door closes, your reptilian brain doesn't really remember that you're a grown adult that can push the door open and go buy a house coat to warm up. It thinks you're going to freeze to death. And so it kicks in a fight or flight response that causes you to start shuttering blood to your brain, lungs, and heart, your major organs, in order to survive. It's a survival instinct. And minimum effective dose of hormesis, as it is, also then causes a 24-hour fat burn. Once you start shivering, that's your body now going into survival mode, and it wants to eat what's readily available. And for a lot of us, and myself included, that's that last 5 pounds. And so very effective. You get a 9-hour cognitive boost from the blood rushing to your brain. And if cold enough, a 24-hour fat burn from the cold therapy. A lot of people are familiar, and if you've ever clicked on cold plunge on Instagram, you get nothing but ads for the next year. So a lot of people have done cold showers and been exposed to bits and pieces of cold therapy. So we find that the walk-in cooler is a lot easier to get into than even a cold shower or a cold plunge. Janet and I cold plunged in the Elbow River all winter, which was 3 degrees Celsius water. And the few days that we didn't, it's because the river was frozen over.
Amazing, amazing. And we're gonna have the supplemental video at the end, so everyone definitely check that out. But yes, it was my first time going into the cooler and that type of machine, and I did have a cap on and mittens just to protect my fingers, and yeah, they were all frosty. So, and how long were we in there, Dean? A minute and a half?
3.5.
3.5. Oh yeah, 3.5. Right. Yeah.
We did the expert mode. You did great in there. It's awesome.
Awesome. So as we slowly start to wrap up here, what, I guess you kind of touched on it earlier, both of you, but what was the big driving force to bring, this technology, or bring the upgrade labs to Calgary? And obviously there's there's locations all over the place, but why did you decide to bring it to your home city?
Yeah. This truly started in our business analysis a couple of years ago of there has to be a better way. And we were truly seeing, well, we see this as the next evolution in fitness, Deepak. As we age and, we want to live that healthy, active lifestyle. I couldn't learn that from my parents. They did the best they could with the gyms that were available growing up, and high school gyms that had a shiny silver universal machine in the middle of a 20 by 20 room. There's a number of tremendous fitness facilities out there, but our modern life requires meal planning, picking kids up at soccer, getting groceries, date night. And we never, ever leave work anymore because it follows us around in our pocket. And so in the thread of there has to be a better way, this minimum effective dose and just understanding an evolution of fitness recovery, how well that helps you to make great gains, we discovered Upgrade Labs. There's one other point I was thinking of sharing. I'll come back to it.
Yeah. I think that there's lots of options here in Calgary. I think Dean and I have tried to go to every single one that we can here in the city. Um, and they're all kind of based on your standard 45-minute, 55-minute class, whether it's HIIT style, or just meant to make you sweat and feel as tired and kind of as much as you can by the end of the class, which is great. That's served us well. But I think that just through our own research, and through this whole biohacking journey, we've learned that there's other ways that you can still achieve those same goals without having to do some of that work. So I think, we've been able to bring just a different option to the city, that if you only have 45 minutes, what does that look like? And I'll speak for myself as a female. If you only have 45 minutes and you have long hair and your makeup is done and you don't want to sweat, but you want to get a good workout and you want to do something that's good for your body, what does that look like? And how can you still achieve those same goals without having to do a sweaty 55-minute class that's going to take, a half an hour for you to kind of clean up afterwards. So and I think, just again, to Dean's point, just suiting that downtown professional too. We see it with our friends. We've seen it through our own networks, especially some of those executives, as they get later in their career, they have less time necessarily to take care of themselves. But that's when they need it the most, because they know that around the corner, when they, have that retirement, or they have more time on their hands to go and do the things that they wanted to do, are they going to be prepared physically to go and do those things? And if you're not taking care of your body now, then, we know that health is wealth. So you need to be taking care of yourself so that you can enjoy those later years. And I think that was something else that was a big driver for us too, certainly for Dean and his own health journey.
You bet. Yeah, and I just remembered the second bullet I wanted to comment on. I've always been a big believer in kind of the mental, physical, spiritual triangle. And, a number of our technologies, be it the re-HIIT style bike workout, the cold therapy, and even our red bed, has tremendous mental benefits to them as well. And even the big squeeze, I call it the meditation station. When you're laying there, your legs are getting lymphatic drainage massage. We have a red light on your face. If you have a little bit of a meditation mantra to go over, that's the perfect place to just have an absolute reset on your day. And then, quite honestly, Deepak, if you and I had a page of notes to trade from this show, we wouldn't walk over to a fax machine and slide one page in and type in a phone number. We'd go to our computer and text scan or airdrop it over lunch. And we really saw this as the evolution for the fitness industry, where they're kind of programmed to make you sweat so you think you worked out, where in fact the research is now showing we're probably doing damage on some of those long runs, and
Right.
a HIIT style workout could be done differently to be more physically effective.
I'm just gonna say, I think the only people using fax machines anymore is like insurance companies and the government. I think that's right. Those are the only people that still use fax machines.
So there's an indication right there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we have a quite a international audience of people who subscribe and watch the show. Now it's going to be local, and obviously again, there's locations everywhere. But you guys have been open. I've been there, but you have your official grand opening in just a couple of weeks from the release of this episode on October 1st, 2024. Why don't you tell us some, I know there's a big name who's gonna come. We mentioned it already a few times. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about what you have planned for the grand opening?
Yeah, we're super excited to announce that on October 1st, Dave Asprey will be in Calgary in our lab, here to meet everyone. we originally would have had him closer to our original open date, which was earlier this spring. But our schedule didn't align, unfortunately. And knowing the Calgary holiday schedule during the summer, it just made more sense to push it to the fall. So we're excited to be hosting Dave on October 1st. Don't have all the details at the moment. By the time this is published, we will definitely have more information online. So you can certainly look up our socials at Upgrade Labs Calgary. But Dave's going to be on the ground signing books, taking photos, reading cell health analysis, and we're just excited to have him here. So people can go online, they can register and come down. They can check out our lab. We're on the main level of Brookfield Place here in downtown Calgary. But like I said, if you can't join us in person, then certainly look online for all of the highlights that'll be coming out from that.
Yeah. And I'll just mention, as a good point here, like I'm going to have, all the contact information and social media information, et cetera, in the show notes for everyone. So, and I think it's also a good segue that you both have a gift for all the listeners, whether you're local or not. One of you want to describe what the gift is?
Yeah, you bet. At any Upgrade Lab, we welcome people to go online, sign up, and come in for a free cell health analysis. We touched on that earlier, but as a reminder, it's a Waye scale that sends a mild electrical impulse through your body. And so we get right leg, right arm, left arm, and trunk analysis of your muscle, bone density, fat, intercellular, extracellular water. And as Janet mentioned, the way that the scale measures this also allows us to see inflammation markers and some other general health markers. And we get a very good snapshot of aligned with our customers' goals of how we can best service them with our equipment and build out what we call a stack of fitness and recovery. So everyone's welcome to go online to Upgrade Labs, and in your area, find a lab, or if you're through Calgary, we'd love to host you for a free cell health analysis.
And they're starting to spread out all across the world, all major cities. So hopefully there's one close to everyone. So that's amazing. So as I like to wrap up, and obviously we've been talking about health and everything like that. I'm all about health. That's what I work on with my clients. But this is not a health podcast per se. But I'd be remiss if I didn't ask each of you if you briefly describe what is your typical. Maybe let's preface this: not being at the lab, not using any of the equipment there. What does your morning routine look like?
Currently for me, I'm opening the lab. So I might just soften that to my weekly routine, Deepak.
Sure.
I'm doing a 2-day split of heavy lifting. I'm doing the AI bike 3 times a week. Most every day I'm at the lab. I'm in the cold therapy. And then I'm using the other recovery modalities kind of as needed. Today I wanted that energy boost and had a great recommendation for the green light. A month ago, I had a bit of a sore shoulder from, surprisingly or not surprisingly, from working out on conventional workout equipment. And I was able to rehabilitate that shoulder using our PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic station. So I'm, using the modalities kind of as necessary so that I feel my best throughout my day and throughout my week.
Awesome. How about you, Janet?
Yeah. Prior to opening, I would say that my routine consisted of waking up early, going and doing a morning workout class, which was a HIIT class, usually grabbing my coffee after that. And then, especially as the weather was getting warmer in the spring, going for a walk and just taking a moment to appreciate the sun coming out, the fact that I was feeling really good, that I'd had a good workout, that kind of thing. So that's typical and standard of my routine for the last X amount of years. What I've learned is I think that early morning HIIT class is actually spiking my cortisol, which is putting me off tilt for the rest of my day. So I am currently in a transition period of changing what my morning routine looks like. I'm trying to cut out coffee a little bit more. So I'm not having coffee today. I'm having more of a natural energy drink tea, also a Calgary company. But what I'm trying to do is get up and actually get a good walk in so I can get some sunlight, set my circadian rhythm up, get some fresh air, and then just start my body moving, having a little bit stretch, having my energy drink, and then starting my day off. So that is going to continue to evolve over the next couple of weeks. Right now, obviously, we have the benefit of the beautiful early morning weather, but as fall comes, that will change too. Yeah, I'm just kind of working on other things to put into my morning routine. So if you ask me in a month or in 2 months, it's going to look very different, probably.
Okay, well, who knows? Maybe we'll do a round 2 at some point in the future for sure. So, I really appreciate you both being on the show, and I just want to remind everyone again, stay tuned. After the credits roll, there will be some supplemental video added on of me at the Calgary location of Upgrade Labs, and yeah. Feel free to make fun of Deepak doing some things on those videos. So definitely stay tuned. And again, we'll have all the links for Dean and Janet and Upgrade Labs and everything in the show notes. So Dean, Janet, I really appreciate you both being on the Deepak Saini Show.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course, we love your longevity message, and your coaching is apparent. I've watched a couple of your workout videos, so I would advise your listeners to not make too much fun of you. You're tough, man.
All right. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right. I'm going to throw it back to J23. She's going to guide us out with some music. Don't forget to check out today's sponsor as well at the end of the show. And again, everyone, thank you again for listening to the Deepak Saini Show. Remember, exceptional results for the exceptional you. Till next time. And don't forget, there's a supplemental video at the end. All right. Check it out, everyone. Take care. Till next time. This episode is brought to you by Bioptimizers. Magnesium Breakthrough. This is a product I've been using and our family's been using for, 4 years already. What I love about it, it has 7 different forms of magnesium in it, all the forms that your body needs for all 400 processes that your body needs magnesium for. Most magnesium supplements have 1 form and usually a crummy form of magnesium. This has all 7 forms that your body needs. So click the link and get at least 10% off. Sometimes there's specials and you even get more. So check out Bioptimizers Magnesium Breakthrough.
Podcast produced by the Minted Green Company.
They call it REHIIT, reduced exertion, high intensity workout. So utilizing, call it the 80-20 rule or minimum effective dose, they've picked the best parts of a HIIT style workout. During this 9-minute workout, there's 2 20-second sprints. The time between is warm-up and recovery time, done at 25 watts. If you just exit out of that screen there, you'll see on your left-hand side you're at 20 watts, and the voice in your head's probably telling you keep it at 20 watts. Humans were meant to walk around, forage, and every now and then the ones who survived ran away from the tiger. And so the audio track that you're listening to and that we get to sprint to includes a little bit of a meditation talk through that also includes tigers chasing us. Okay. That's lots for your first. Holy smokes, 156 pounds. Leave a little gas in the tank for me, buddy. Hold that back, resist, resist. Lots of breathing too. Big muscles, breathe. Nice, nice push. Just a little bit more, there you go. You got it. And resist, hold that in. Big breath, big breath. Now push.
It was amazing.
And the first little bit, it will size you so that everyone gets their own customized lymphatic massage. And then it'll just be a series of light inflating, squeezing your leg, and kick-starting that lymphatic system. Now, because we did so many squats and we've done the bike today, this would have been one of our recommended modalities for you to recover. We've worked those muscles hard. You're going to go home tonight, you're going to feel like you worked out, but you won't wake up stiff and sore tomorrow because of this therapy.
So this is kind of, is this hitting my low back down?
Yeah. It goes up into just lower torso.
Okay, got it.
And your lymph drains up out of your shoulder through a natural membrane. Okay, step on in there.